Maria Cardona, who served as senior advisor and spokesperson for the Hillary Clinton campaign, Danny Vargas, chairman of the Republican National Hispanic Assembly.
And you have Senator McCain, who really is just going to give us 4 more years of the same disastrous policies that have put us in the position that we are today. Is that if you elect John McCain, you're going to be electing 4 more years of the same.
Well, can I just make a comment about how old that talking point is getting? It really is getting so old. I think the American people, we have to respect.
It's true.
But no, it's not. It's totally false in the American public. We have to respect the fact that the American public that's out there today watching us on TV, they're a lot more sophisticated than that. We also have a Democratic Congress that's been asleep at the switch as well. So it's, you know, if we're going to talk about where the blame lies on everyone. And we've got to get to a point where whoever the next president is going to take proactive, forward-looking, forward-leaning steps to actually deal with this, as opposed to, because frankly, we really would need, on this particular issue, we need to get beyond sort of the partisan sniping that we're talking about. We need to get back to solutions, and that's what both candidates really ought to be talking about, is how we get past this and how we move forward.
And the fact of the matter is that it was John McCain and Phil Gramm, his key economic advisor, who were at the switch when all of these deregulations were put in place.
Absolutely. And you've also got the Democratic nominee for president, who's been the person who's gotten the most money from Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, the number 2 person beyond Chris Dodd over the last 20 years. So that's why, as Senator Obama has ridiculed the establishment of a commission, I think it would be judicious to have the experts at the table come together and actually come up with a well-thought-out plan to be able to deal with this in the short term, not multi-years out, but in the near term. You know, while Danny speaks eloquently of what he says McCain will do, the problem is, to Andres' point, McCain has absolutely no credibility on this issue. Like Andres said, he has said himself, he doesn't understand the economy. I think it's genuine what Danny is saying, but unfortunately for McCain's credibility, it's just not there. Although 2 years ago, he was one of the early voices in Congress standing up and saying, we've got this Freddie and Fannie issue, we've got to look at it, it's going to get us in trouble.
To say that when the whole country is feeling that this could be similar to the Great Depression times.
The media and the opposition, anything that you say will be sliced and diced and parsed out and so forth. What he said at the statement was that while the fundamentals of the economy are strong, the American workers, the American family, the free market economy and so forth, we're going through a crisis that's affecting every American, that's making life difficult for everyone.
We've got to be able to overcome. I think it was
definitely taken out of context.
Do you think his statements were out of context?
No.
But analysts are thinking that what Maria just said is going to be the leitmotif of the Democrats trying to tie McCain to the failed Republican administration.
They can try, but John McCain has not ever been seen as your stereotypical Republican standard bearer. He's been the maverick. He's been the one that's taken on his own party. He's been the one that's taken on the special interests. He's been the one that's every day fighting for the American people. Hasn't he, really?
It is not about the vice presidential pick. People do not make a decision on the presidential ticket based on who the vice president is.
You're right. People aren't voting for the vice president, they're voting for the president. The person who is not a heartbeat away from the president, but actually is going to occupy that chair when they go in. Couldn't begin to tell you. What I can tell you is that Senator McCain and the Republican Party support a close, strong economic relationship with Latin America and security relationship. We support a free trade agreement with Colombia. We support a free trade agreement with Panama. We've got Senator Obama and the Democrats that are opposing it. Why? I don't know. It's in the economic best interest of both sides as well as our security interests. So that's something that Hispanics and Latin Americans need to take into account as well.
Maria, the last word, and very short.
Senator Obama enjoys the support of more than 3 to 1 in the Latino community, and there's a reason for that, because he has stood by us. Historically, the Democrats have stood by us, and I think that they're going to help him deliver him the presidency in November.
Here to face off Democratic strategist Maria Cardona and Republican strategist Danny Vargas.
I do agree with Vice President Cheney in the fact that I think this is a huge mistake. We talked about this earlier. I think we absolutely have no need to do this. In New York City, we're going to be opening up wounds. KSM is going to go up and turn this into a circus. He's going to use the opportunity to spew all the hatred and the family.
Only if the judge allows him to do so. Let's be absolutely clear. It's up to a federal judge. It's not up to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as far as what he gets to say.
And the families of the victims just now are beginning to heal, and the wounds are still fresh. We don't need to open up those wounds, and we don't need to put at risk the intelligence sources and methods, military tactics and strategies. This is a huge mistake. We can still use a military tribunal as a viable, appropriate option.
Well, my view, I think, is that we should trust our federal judges and that we should trust what U.S. attorneys are saying and what U.S. prosecutors are saying, who are the ones who were part of the decision to do this. And I think that we have actually tried terrorists in the past, and our courts are a place where this can happen. And as you said it, Dave, the judge has said that he is not going to allow this.
So in a situation like that, it's just totally fitting and appropriate that we would use military tribunals. We've used them throughout our history, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War to World War II. So this is appropriate and fitting to be able to use this vehicle as the option to be able to bring this individual to justice in a quick and speedy trial and execute him using the military options that we have before us. That's the best, cleanest, easiest way.
Democrats as a whole in both the House and the Senate are absolutely unified in their commitment to pass health care reform that gives those families who have been crushed by premiums the kind of stability that they need, and to give the 30 million uninsured Americans the coverage that they need. I think that what was struck in the Senate today goes a long way towards getting to where we need to get.
Danny, are you smiling because you think this really is a victory for Republicans?
No, I'm smiling because I can't believe Maria said that Democrats are completely unified on anything. They're disunified. And when it comes to the abortion issue, when it comes to the public option and so forth, there's so much disunity that's taking place within the Democratic Party right now on this issue, and especially the fact that all of these deals are being done behind closed doors in the dead of night. You know, whatever happened to the most open administration in history?